Alright, we are going to take a look at adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. You are going to need your toolkit for this portion because you're going to be adding this entry to your toolkit. In the back of your toolkit on page 90 starts these resource pages for you, and wherever you have room from page 90 on, you can add this to your toolkit. So, step 1, do you have a common denominator? Step 2, find a common denominator by using the giant 1. Step 3, then add only the numerators and keep the denominator the same. Step 4, if possible, simplify or reduce your fraction to simplest terms. So then we're going to take a look at this first example. We have 3/4 plus 2/3. And we need a common denominator for 4 and 3. So the common denominator that I think of right away is 12. So we need a fraction that has 12 on the bottom that's equivalent to 3/4. So if I'm thinking of 3/4 times a giant 1, that would give me something over 12, well, that would be 3/3. So 3 then times 3 would give me 9/12. That's the new fraction. Plus, and I have to do the same thing with 2/3. So I have 2/3 as my original fraction, and I'm going to multiply it by some giant 1 to get a new fraction that's equivalent to something out of 12. And 3 times 4 gives me 12, so my giant 1 in this case is going to be 4/4. 2 times 4 gives me 8, so my new fraction is 8. And I get 8 on the top, 12 on the bottom. 9 plus 8 gives me 17. And I keep the same denominator of 12. So I'm going to erase some of this work because the last step said to simplify if possible. And I have 17/12, and I know that's a improper fraction. So I know 12 goes into 17 one time, and I know that I should have 5 pieces left over out of 12. So my final answer would be 1 5/12. Here's example 2. We have 2/3 minus 1/6. So we have thirds and sixths. Well, our common denominator to me that jumps out right away would be 6. So the 1/6 does not need to change. So I'm going to copy it down. The only one that needs to change is the 2/3. So we're going to make it something out of 6. So 2/3 times, the giant one here is going to be 2/2. So that's going to give me 4/6. So 4 minus 1 gives me 3, and the denominator stays the same. So I'm going to get 3/6, and hopefully we all know that 3/6 reduced to be 1/2. So that's my final answer. So one last final note for you to add to your toolkit. If you have trouble finding the common denominator, then just multiply the starting denominators together. So if you have any trouble or you want to rewatch the video, please go back and rewatch it. Otherwise, good luck.